For instance, number one, we know we have a parabola or U shape because it's a squared term. What? All right, so we know we have a parabola. And we know that the parent graph of the parabola is y equals ax squared. And we talked a lot about what a does. Okay? If a is negative, what happens to my parabola or U shape? No. Please stay there. If a is negative, what happens to my parabola? Remember, parabola looks like that, right? If it's negative, what happens to it? Yeah, it opens downward. Okay, so to open like that. Okay, what else did we talk about with that A? If A is a fraction less than 1, and the way we write that mathematically, if A is a fraction less than 1, actually I should say between 0 and 1, and if we were to use mathematical symbols, be like if A is between 0 and 1 with less than error. Okay, that's the mathematical way of this whole statement. What happens to our parabola? It's a fraction. I'll draw a picture of it. It's wider, right? And of course, if A is greater than 1, what happens to my parabola? Get smeared. Okay. What else did we talk about thus far on parabolas? Oh, minimums and maximums, right? Look at the vertex of these two parabolas. Which one's a minimum? Top one. Which one's max? Bottom one, because it's the highest point and the lowest point. I think that's pretty much all we covered with thus far. Any questions? So look at number one. Let's see, it says for A, would the graph open up and down? So my A here is, it's in front of the x squared. See how my A is in front of the x squared? So is this going to open up or down? Up, because it's positive. Up. And is it going to have a minimum or max? Well, if it opens up, it has a minimum. Okay, you guys can do 2 and 3 on your own. Number 4. We're supposed to answer these questions. Does a graph have a minimum or maximum? It opens up, so it has a minimum. B, what is the vertex of the graph? What is the coordinate or the ordered pair of that vertex? Well, I put put a point there. So it's going to be x, which is 1, comma, -1. That's the ordered pair. Guys, cut it out. Don't break my calculator. And C, would the equation be a positive or negative? Well, again, it's opening upward, so it's going to be, A is going to be positive. So you guys can do 5 and 6. I'll do the odds, you guys do the even. Graph the following quadratic equations, or as we've been calling them, the parabolas. So what are we going to use? That's right, our calculators. So we're going to go into the y equals, put it in this quadratic equation, x squared plus 6x. We're going to graph it. Okay, and we're going to have to sketch this graph eventually. But remember, I told you guys you needed 3 points. They actually put the x values here. We got to go and find the y values. Now, there's an easy way to do this on your calculators. You can hit the second button and the graph button, and it brings up this table here. And we're looking for -4. So -4, comma, my y is -8. If I look at x equal -3, my y is -9. If I look at x equal -2, my y is -8. Notice the y's start repeating. So here, this point here, my vertex. Okay, so I'm going to graph this. -3, -9, -3, -9. I have -4, -8, -4, -8, and I have -2, -8. Do you notice how they start being the same? Actually a reflection of each other. There's what's called a line of symmetry, an axis of symmetry here. We'll talk about this a little later, where everything on this side is exactly like this side. So I'm going to draw my parabola. I'm just going to sketch it here. And if you want to check it, you know, it's going to be on your calculator, right? So we're pretty close. It has it opens upward, so it is a minimum, and the vertex again was -3, -9. A lot of the stuff, although it's pretty detailed, a lot of it, all of it, you can get off your calculator. Hey, how are you? I just noticed you. Number 9. Let's go ahead and put that in our calculator. Any questions on this? You have to put in your y equals button. Here, let's put number 9 in there. Okay, so I'm going to go to my y equals x button. See it right there? Okay, so hit y equals x. I'm going to clear this one out. Okay, so I need 2x. There's my x key. Oops, sorry. So here's my x key. With me? Okay, and here's my squared key right there. See the little 2 up there? And it brings 2x squared plus, now I need an 8, and again, my x is right there, minus, okay? Then hit graph. There's my parabola. And then if I hit the second key, hit the second key here, the second graph, it brings up this table right here. Okay? I need the values for y when x is -3. So there's x -3. My y value is going to be -8. Okay. When my x is -2, my y value is going to be -10. And when my x value is -1, my y value is going to be -8. And again, since my y values here are repeating, 99% of the time, this is going to be my vertex. Okay. Okay, so the vertex here is -2, -10. It opens upward, so I have a minimum, that's the smallest point, the lowest point. Now, I'm just going to graph these points and draw my U shape. So my vertex, -2, -10, -2, -10, -3, -8, and -1, -8. Oops, they should be up here. And just do the best you can with the U. Gentlemen, knock it off. There's my parabola. Okay, let's do number 11. Conte, sit in the chair. Okay, number 11. Put it in our y equals. We have -3 x squared plus 8. Hit graph. So this one opens down, so we're going to have a maximum this time, right? Second graph brings up my table. Marcus! When my x is -1, my y is 5. When my x is 0, my y is 8. And when my x is 1, my y is 5. So this is going to be my vertex. 0, 8. Since it opens downward, we're going to have a max. Okay. So let's graph this. 0, 8. Negative 1, 5. Negative 1, 5. And positive 1, 5. Okay. Okay. Let's do the next section, and then that'll probably be it. I'll let you guys work on this for the rest of the class. Solve for x. Remember, since they're all x squared, we have to use the plus or minus, right? Okay, how do I get rid of the power of 2? Square root both sides. Quiet down. Okay, the square root cancels out the power of 2. I get x. Don't forget the plus or minus. What's the square root of 16? Anybody remember? Let's see. Square root, hit the second button. The power of 2, see the little square root. 16. And I get 4. Number 15. I have to get the x squared term by itself first. So I'm going to add 80 to both sides. And I get x squared equals 1 plus 80 is 81. Get rid of the power of 2. I'm going to take the square roots of both sides. So I get x equals, don't forget plus or minus, square root of 81. Hit second, x squared button, 81, and I get 9. And the last one for today. Okay, I have to get x squared by itself. Being multiplied by the coefficient 3. To undo multiplication, I'm going to divide by the coefficient 3. So I get x squared equals 192 divided by 3. Let's see, 6, 18, 12, 64. I have to get rid of the power of 2. Square root both sides. Chinaman, quiet down. Cancels out the power of 2. I get x equals plus or minus square root of 64. Second, x squared, 64, negative 8. Okay, so you have to do problems all the way through 18, 1 through 18. 2 through 18. Okay. Practice work is 1, 2 through 18. See, this is day number 1. No P. Practice 2 through numbers 2 through 18. Questions, comments, concerns?